This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that loved the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your more off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com.
Do you think they can win the NFC with Jameis at the helm?
Hell no. I don't believe that. I have no reason to believe that because of Jameis Winston only, though. The defense is real. Alvin Kamara is still there. They drafted Olave. Michael Thomas is still there for the time being. You just picked up Landry. They have weapons everywhere. But I'm one of those guys, Mr. Orlovsky, that if there's a question mark about you at the quarterback position, then I'm not a believer. Because
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Thank you all so much. Shouts out to everybody in the chat, filing in, asking everybody to come in. I'm going to file on up in here, because we got a lot to talk about. All right. Shouts out to everybody that's listening. Whether you're listening on YouTube, streaming network, wherever, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Hit that like button if you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast. Before we get started, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We're about 35 subscribers away from 8,000 subscribers. So I'm asking everyone that checks out the podcast consistently but has not subscribed, go ahead and hit that like button. And I also want to mention before I get started, I want to dedicate this show to my little man, Pac-Man. Paxton's birthday is today. If you're listening to this on a Thursday, May 19th, my boy turns 3 today, man. I'm extremely excited about that. He's at daycare right now, having a little birthday party with his friends. And, man, everybody know how much that boy mean to me. And some of you had opportunity to watch him grow up. And as a father, man, I'm extremely excited, man. The best thing that ever happened to me in my life was that boy and my wife. I love them more than words can express. And I know this is a podcast where we talk Saints, but man, they are my reason for being. They're the reason I bring it every single time I'm behind this microphone or talking about the Saints, is because I want to be the best I can be for them. So this show is dedicated to my beautiful son, Paxton, and I love you very much. But let's go ahead and get started, man. Let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about Jameis Winston. Some of you probably just already caught the clip that I played. Stephen A. Smith was on First Take, and he had some thoughts about the New Orleans Saints being a contender. And, of course, he was very reluctant about it. And just for the sake of those that probably just checked this out, I'm going to go ahead and play it again. This is what Stephen A. Smith had to say about the New Orleans Saints and being a contender.
Do you think they can win the NFC with Jameis at the helm?
hell no. I don't believe that. I have no reason to believe that because of Jameis Winston only, though. The defense is real. Alvin Kamara is still there. They drafted Olave. Michael Thomas is still there for the time being. You just picked up Landry. They have weapons everywhere. But I'm one of those guys, Mr. Orlovsky, that if there's a question mark about you at the quarterback position, then I'm not a believer. Because I believe ultimately that is what will come back to bite you. I want to emphasize that is all I'm talking about with the New Orleans Saints. I'm not questioning Coach Allen, who's been under Sean, Sean for years. Okay, I got all of that.
All right, man, bump all this. Okay, check this out. You seen boy Sterner? You couldn't even get the names right of the players or the coaches. Look, man, Stephen A. Smith is exactly what Stephen A. Smith is. He's a talking head. He's extremely entertaining. And he's one of those guys that executives love because he's loud, he's obnoxious, and he's always animated. Dude don't know nothing much about football. I mean, if you look at what he said about, the quarterback position, right? He said if there were question marks about you at the quarterback position, then, that is a deal breaker for him. I'm putting it in layman terms, okay? I'm paraphrasing, I should say. That is what he said. All right. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who comes out every single year and talks about how Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. Somebody please tell me when's the last time Aaron Rodgers went to the Super Bowl. Somebody tell me the last time Aaron Rodgers led his team all the way to the promised land. But yet this dude was talking about question marks. This is a quarterback that had led a team for the last 3 years to a 13-3 record, right? He has had 13 wins over the last couple of years, and yet they've had the number one seed, home field advantage, and they have yet to get over the hump. But yet this dude is up here talking about if a person has question marks or a quarterback has question marks, all of a sudden it's a deal breaker for him. Are you kidding me? That goes to show you right there, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Look, the question on today's show is how effective or can Jameis Winston be an effective quarterback? And the answer is yes. Because the last time we seen Jameis Winston on the field, he was an effective quarterback. He was out there wheeling and dealing with guys who were not very good. They weren't as talented as you see some of the top receivers in the league when they're on a team with Patrick Mahomes, on a team with Dak Prescott. I mean, these guys were mediocre at best, borderline terrible. And yet Jameis was making it work. A bunch of undrafted, unproven guys, Juwan Johnson, Marquez Callaway, Deontay Hardy, Kevin White. You know what I'm saying? He was going to play in the game with Kevin White for a little while until he got hurt. But, I mean, all those undrafted guys, but yet Jameis Winston was turning Deontay Harris into a deep threat, catching Marquez Callaway on the deep pass. Traquan Smith, right? He was out there, throwing passes to him. So anybody that feels like because the New Orleans Saints, have Jameis Winston as their quarterback, they can't be effective. I mean, you basically are just digging in the crates. But I don't blame Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith is a guy who's about preparation. He's not a guy to me who is an off-the-cuff guy, right? He's not a guy that's going to be up here like I'm doing right now, like what I'm about to do, right? You ask me a bunch of questions, I give you an answer. If you ask me about a different team, I can spit it out there. I'm not trying to brag or boast or trying to, pat myself on the back, but I've been doing this for the last 5 seasons. The question that was asked to Stephen A. Smith came through breaking news. It was about Jarvis Landry signing with the New Orleans Saints and can the New Orleans Saints be effective? And, of course, he went to what he knew, which was Jameis Winston throwing a bunch of interceptions in Tampa. Lazy commentary. Anybody that's seen Jameis Winston, and shouts out to Dan Orlovsky, a guy who is, understands the game, a guy that looks at it, a guy that deserves to be in a bidding war against networks. I think Fox was trying to offer him money before ESPN offered him a commentator job in order to keep him around, justifiably so. But the dude did his homework. He understood about what Jameis did, the touchdown to interception ratio. The question on everybody's mind is, can he throw more touchdowns than interceptions? And he proved that he could. And he brought it up in a narrative. And yet Stephen A. Smith lazily, in a very lazy fashion, goes back and talks about Jameis Winston in Tampa. Newsflash, Stephen A. Smith. Jameis Winston hasn't been in Tampa going on 3 years. So it's time to let that stuff go. Okay. And if you're going to talk about unanswered questions, look no further than your favorite quarterback, because it made you look like a hypocrite on national television. I know some people were wondering, why didn't I come out here and talk about this before? Because I wanted to make sure. I heard on the last podcast I did, people were talking about, did I hear what Stephen A said? I didn't hear what he said. Right? I like to go back and I like to break it down and do my research and see what happened so I can collect my thoughts to give it to you. Stephen A. Smith, this was a terrible take. I'm not going to say Stephen A. Smith is the worst commentator I've ever seen. The dude makes a lot of money and he works his ass off in order to get where he is. Some people will question the way that he's doing it. Some people will question the way that he allegedly, well, I don't even want to say allegedly, how he got Max Kellerman to be removed from First Take onto the show with Keyshawn Johnson. Dude works hard. I ain't going to take it away from him. But when you do stuff like this, it just gives people validation to say that you're a clown. I'm serious. Like it gives you validation, give people validation to say that you are a clown. And this was a clown take because this was one of those things where he was not prepared. And you can tell. I mean, stumbling over words. Couldn't even get Sean Payton's name right. Couldn't even get Dennis Allen in his position right. Couldn't even get Pete Carmichael's name right. So this is a guy that really doesn't understand the game of football when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. So I take this with a grain of salt. But I just have to say that was complete hypocrisy that you said that a deal breaker for you is a quarterback with unanswered questions when your favorite quarterback has been in a position, in a really good position, to lead his team to a Super Bowl and couldn't get it done, right? Now, you can talk about that one time that he did it, but still, I mean, that was, 11, 12 years ago, right? So he's been in the league 12 years after that Super Bowl, has had some really good seeding, has had home field advantage, right? I think the last time they lost in the playoff, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the 49ers play them in Lambeau Field? I mean, I'm just confused. And I don't really have nothing against Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't really about Aaron Rodgers. This is more about Stephen A. Smith's take about Jameis Winston and unanswered questions. And I had to look no further than his favorite quarterback because maybe he'll understand that. But let's go ahead and answer some of your questions, man, and then we'll go ahead and take it from there. Shouts out to everybody here. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. It is what it is. We're going to start with Jason. Jason said the ceiling on this team is the same as the greatest show on turf. They can be the best in the league if they put it all together, which we all think they will. Look, I firmly believe in this football team. If everything works out the way that we want it to work out, I expect for the Saints to be there in the end. Look, the Saints are trying to win it all. The Saints are trying to win it all. I'm going to say that with my whole chest. All of the acquisitions, all of the aggressive moves that they made in this offseason tells me that just because Sean Payton is gone does not mean that this team is going to rebuild. They don't look at themselves as a rebuild team. Look, they look at themselves as a contender, which they have been over the last 4 to 5 years. They have been a contender. You can even say last year they would have been a contender if it wasn't for Jameis Winston going down. I believe in this team. I know the majority of you believe in this team. So I'm not going to waste my time with pundits who are trying to put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ahead of the New Orleans Saints. Every single day I see them trying to put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ahead of the Saints for no reason other than Tom Brady is there. But Tom Brady has only beaten the Saints one time in the 2 years he has been in Tampa. But yet, for some apparent reason, they always seem to put him up front. And I get it, right? They try to make Tom Brady the greatest. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. And he's so mad and he's angry. You don't think Tom Brady was angry when the Saints caught that pick six in week 1 and back in 2020? You don't think he was upset that he didn't score any points when the Saints went to Raymond James Stadium and slapped them around 38-3? Okay, I'm pretty sure he got his payback in the postseason, but you don't think he was upset that he went up against the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome and got a pick six by P.J. Williams? You don't think he was upset that he could not muster up a single punt, not a point, but a punt in Raymond James Stadium later in the season, and they got goose egg? So you don't think Tom Brady would have been angry about that? But that's the things that they do, folks. That's the things that they do. But we, as card-carrying members of the Who Dat Nation, understand what the Saints are. And that is one tough football team. And no matter who they line up against, they're going to give their all. I am not buying. Oh, look at the tough schedule, because we have seen the New Orleans Saints play some of the toughest teams in the National Football League and made those teams look like they don't even deserve to be on the same field with them. The same way with the Green Bay Packers in week 1, the same way they slapped around the Patriots, the same way they slapped around the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have seen this. They are beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are beating the Seattle Seahawks. They have beaten the Buffalo Bills at one time. So don't tell me that this team is incapable of going out here, going up against some formidable competition and can't walk away with the W. Miss me with that nonsense. The delusional world that most of these people live in is unbelievable. And I chunk it up to the fact that they don't know Saints football. And I understand that. Probably since everybody wants to talk about the Patriots and the Cowboys. Oh, that's fine. But don't make it seem like you know what you're talking about when you don't. And don't act like you shouldn't appreciate what this team has done just because you can validate the greatness of Tom Brady. Tom Brady don't need it. Everybody can see this. Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder could see that the New Orleans Saints are better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers more times than not. You cannot tell me that if you play a team 5 times and beat them 4 times, that team is better than you because they pushed everything in front of the table and it was on the line. Give me a freaking break. The NCAA tournament happens every single year. Every single year. And there's always an upset. Are you telling me in a best-of-7 series, a team like St. Peter's would knock off Duke in a best-of-7 series? Not going to happen. Don't tell me that Duke is not better than St. Peter's. St. Peter's was better than Duke on that day. They did what it needs to do to win. But don't tell me that team is better if in a best-of-7 series, because Duke will wipe them off the court more times than they would lose that basketball game. The Saints, in 5 tries, have beaten the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4, and yet people do not want to concede that the Saints are a better football team. That is unfreaking believable. Unfreaking believable. How do you make this stuff up? It's like we live in this fantasy world or this fairy tale world, and they want these narratives to reign supreme. But anybody that has eyes and that can do research, it will tell you otherwise. It will tell you otherwise, man. All right, so let me read a couple more of these comments. Thank y'all, man. 171 people here right now. I ask that you hit the like button. If you like the commentary, if you love the show, look, I appreciate everybody that donates to the podcast. Look, but you don't even have to donate. All you gotta do is hit that like button, okay? You can show your appreciation that way. Jason says, you know the other quarterbacks that have torn their ACLs and came back the next year and played well? Phillip Rivers, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and so many. They can't stop with that excuse. Look, people acting like this is back in 1960, 1970s. The ACL injury is not a death sentence anymore. Modern medicine has made miraculous breakthroughs when it comes to all these orthopedic surgeries and dealing with their ankles and dealing with the knees. It's not the same, but it's good banter. You know what I'm saying? It's good storyline, right? Oh, can he come back from an ACL tear? Because Jason, a lot of people aren't going to think like you and me. We understand today that it's not a death sentence, but you still have people out here that are still talking like Gale Sayers was out here. You know what I'm saying? Gale Sayers was one of the greatest running backs of all time for the Chicago Bears. And his career was cut short after 6 or 7 years, if I believe, because of an ACL injury. It's because that technology was not advanced. And his career had to be cut short. You mentioned Tom Brady. You mentioned Phillip Rivers. You mentioned Joe Burrow. You mentioned those guys. Those guys have come back. I can even go away from the quarterback position. Adrian Peterson tore his ACL, came back and won league MVP. Wes Welker, right? They were talking about he had mutant blood because he tore his ACL and he came back the next year and he was leading the league in receptions. So don't tell me that the ACL injury is a death sentence, because it's not. But the narrative is, for people that don't really follow it, is that the ACL is a death sentence, and it's not anymore. So let's stop using this as an excuse. Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston is not successful in 2022, it will not be because of his ACL. It would be because he didn't do what he needed to do in order to be effective, or he just not effective when it comes to being a starting quarterback. Because here's the realization, and I know this is probably going to tick a lot of people off, but it needs to be said. This is Jameis Winston's last chance for anybody to legitimately look at him as a starter. But this is the last time. Like, this is the last time that he's going to get an opportunity like this, because the Saints have put him in a position that there are no more excuses. And there aren't any excuses. And I don't think that Jameis will use excuses. This will be his last opportunity. Nobody will look at him as a legit starter for a longer period of time if he does not do what needs to be done in New Orleans. You have Chris Olave. You have Michael Thomas. You have Jarvis Landry. You have, all these different guys. Alvin Kamara. You got an offensive line that's getting back together, getting healthy. You got a good, solid defense that's a top 5 defense, and they're only adding on to make themselves even more effective. You don't have any excuses. You don't have any excuses anymore, because nobody is going to look at Jameis nothing other than a bridge. You know what I'm saying? To develop a young quarterback, right? If the young quarterback isn't ready, let's go ahead and put him out here for 4 or 5 starts until our guy that we sign, that we draft, gets better. There are no more excuses. And I love Jameis, but we have to be real here. We have to be real. There are no more excuses. What more excuses can you give? You can't. You can't. Not anymore. It's make or break time. But I think that he will rise to the occasion. I think that Jameis will step up to the plate. I think that he will play out of his mind. But that's just me. Some people may think differently, but I don't. I think that he will play outstanding. Chosen says, gold jersey and black outlines on the numbers and names with black logos on the sleeves. I guess we were talking in the chat about jerseys. Yeah, that sounds pretty dope, man. I don't know exactly what the conversation was about, but that sounds pretty dope. Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. I mean, yeah. I mean, anybody can see that, man. It's not. Look, I'm not even being a homer. Y'all know that I don't roll like that. I tell it like it is here. But I am not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to throw a cup of water in the air and say it's raining. I'm not going to do that. Like, don't play with my intelligence. Don't play with your intelligence. A lot of people that's in this comment box right now, a lot of people that's listening and viewing this right now, you're intelligent people. You know the game. You understand the game. And not just Saint football, but NFL football. We talk about things off the cuff. I can't tell you how many people. Shouts out to Jerry. Shouts out to Josh. Shouts out to Chosen. Shouts out to Hoodie Jube. Shouts out to all these guys, you know what I'm saying, that hit me up, Chemo, who hit me up with different news about the NFL. Not just Saints football, but NFL football. Know the game, understand the game. And not just them. Some people don't email. Some people don't hit me up, and they understand the game. And you understand that the New Orleans Saints have had Tampa's number. So what that tells you, don't say they had Tampa's number. Say that they're better, because they are. You cannot deny that. Tampa is a good football team with Tom Brady. I'm not going to take that away from them. They're talented. They got good defensive players. But at the end of the day, don't tell me that they're better than the Saints because they beat them one time in a do-or-die situation. That does not make sense to me. They were better that day. If this was the shoe was on the other foot, and I'm being 100% honest, if the Saints did what Tampa did, I would come out here and say Tampa is better than the Saints. If we played them 5 times, they beat us 4, and we beat them when it mattered, some people would feel like they do and say, well, we beat you when it mattered, but don't pretend that Tampa wouldn't be better than the Saints. The Saints are better than Tampa. I don't care who they beat in the divisional round. I don't care what the implications were. They're better. They're a better organization. They're a better team. And they're proven it time and time again. Jameis has improved on less turnovers and his decision-making, especially now he has weapons. Look, I've seen some improvement. And I think that if you look at Jameis play, you start to see it, right? When Sean Payton came out in the press conference and was talking about some of the decisions that he made and some of the things he scoffed at. You never seen Jameis making the same mistake twice, right? Even if that means that he was holding on to the football, even if that means he was taking a sack, even if that means he was throwing the ball out of bounds, you seen progression from this dude. People still holding on and hoping and wishing and praying that this dude make a mistake so they can feel validated to say that he sucks. Why? You can't be a Saints fan. You cannot be a Saints fan with that type of mind frame. You cannot be supporting the black and gold if that is in your soul, okay? That you can't, because you have to believe that this guy can make it. You have to believe that this guy can get this team where it needs to be, that he can develop his game to a point where we're actually looking at him on a stage like we did Matthew Stafford all those years when people were saying, oh, Matthew Stafford isn't good enough to win the big one. That is what I feel. I feel like it's hypocritical for you to say that you love a team and hoping that one of the main positions that helps a team be successful, you're rooting against it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Like, take your black and gold jersey off. Take that towel off, okay? Take that Drew Brees jersey off. Take that Archie Manning jersey off. Take that Kamara jersey off and go give it to somebody else that has an appreciation for this team, because you're not a fan. I'm sorry. You cannot call yourself a fan, right? Yeah, it's like your wife saying she loves you, but hating on you every minute. Or your husband saying he loves you and he appreciates you, and in the back of his mind, like they hoping you fail. Like, kind of stuff. How can you say you love me? How can you say you appreciate me? How can you say you down for the team if they're in the back of your mind, you're telling you're saying, or you're believing in your heart that you want to see me fall? Like, seriously? That's not a true fan of me, man. That's fake. That's fake right there, man. That's fake. Let's go to King Arthur. Shouts out to King Arthur, man. My guy, man. It says TJ, Chosen and I were discussing how would designs a mostly guy jersey and a jet black uni with a black helmet. Your thoughts? Let's see. I would have to think about that one, man, because that one is off the cuff right there. And honestly, I'll leave the art to y'all boys. You know what I'm saying? Like you and my brother EJ. Look, I think that a black helmet, like I would like to see like a matted black, you know, like a Texas A&M or something like that, where like I like that matted black helmet. I like something like that with the gold fleur-de-lis. I like the black jerseys like with the gold trim. I don't know if Chosen said this or not, but I like that. You know what I'm saying? That black jersey with the gold trim, and also, you know what I'm saying, with the black pants to match. I like something like that. I think that the Saints have some of the best uniforms in the league because, I mean, to me, if they wanted to, they can make so many variations of it, and it'll look really damn good. But yeah, I would like to see like a black matted helmet. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I would. I miss you being in charge of your Facebook page. I finally had to leave because of all the spam posts. Yeah, man, look, I apologize, but I'm still on Facebook, man. I started a brand new page, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. There's another page out there that I just started, man. So for a person that's a part of that group, the new State of Saints Podcast group, if you can put the link down in there so people can click on it so they can get to the new page. Look, I apologize, man. Somebody hacked into my Facebook account. I completely lost my old Facebook account. Like I completely lost it. I couldn't tell you where it is. I can't get back into that account because it was attached to my old account, which is no longer here. So it's unfortunate, man, because I built that page up. Man, they had over 20,000 followers on that page, and now the new page is probably at like 200. But I'm starting over again. I apologize, Garrett, but it is available. The new State of the Saints Podcast Facebook page available right now. So somebody that's a part of that group right now, if you can copy that link and put it in the comments for me, I would really appreciate that, man. That'd be real helpful. And for those that were following the old State of the Saints Podcast Facebook page, you can click that link as well, and you'll be able to get access to the new page. But thank you, Garrett. I apologize, bro. And I lost a lot of people that probably feel like I don't even do the show no more because a lot of people follow me and watched it on the Facebook page. And you know, TJ, not every person is like that. Not every person can rise to the occasion, and especially with the injuries of Jameis Winston, how stable is his muscle? He can work out, but we have. Look, I think there's always going to be questions, Ramsey, but look, this dude works hard, and I don't think that it's just because, the camera is on. Like, this dude is really working hard and busting his behind to get back to playing shape and getting back to playing on the field. And I believe in him. I believe that this guy has what it takes to get back on the field and play at a high level. Brandon Brown, all the Panthers will see from the Saints is a broom, indicating a sweep. People act like the Bucks didn't suck when Winston was on the team. Like, go look at his stats, and he still won the Bucks games. Look, there was a lot of throwing of the football and a lot of catching up. Now, I'm not going to just say that Jameis Winston was completely absolved of that because he was throwing a lot of interceptions. I mean, I got to tell the truth and shame the devil here. But they were playing a lot of catch up, but a lot of that stuff came from them coming out, throwing the football all over the place and not creating a balanced attack. A balanced attack is very, very important for an offense. I think that it keeps the defense guessing. If a defense comes into the game and sees that you're going to be throwing the ball all over the place and throwing for, 40, 50 passes a game, like, nobody is going to just sit up there and just have any respect for your running game. And they're going to play the pass. And if you put the ball up more times than not, you're going to have interceptions, man, because these cornerbacks, these safeties, these linebackers, even these defensive ends and D tackles are extremely talented, and they can get their hands on the football. So you put the ball up about 40 some odd times, it's a strong possibility that one, maybe even two of those passes are going to get picked off per game. So you got to look at it from that perspective. Now, it was a combination. Like, it was a combination. I'm not going to say that he didn't, have any blame on this. He did some good things, but, there were some mistakes that were made, and I think that Jameis would be, Jameis would tell you that there were some mistakes made on his part. They also need to bring back the 86 Dome Patrol era throwback unis for one home game. Look, man, I told y'all, man, I'm not really about the throwbacks. I'm not really about the throwbacks because I just think that throwbacks, to me, when it comes to New Orleans Saints, don't indicate. It indicates nostalgia, but not the type of nostalgia that I love. Okay, I was watching this documentary, man, and shouts out to you, JL. I was watching this documentary, man. It's on Netflix right now, and they were talking about the history of the video game system, right? They're talking about the history of Atari, history of Nintendo, which was like my era, Super Nintendo, Genesis, right? When I think about that, and I'm watching that, right? Super Mario Brothers come across my screen. Mike Tyson Punch Out. Some of y'all are probably losing with some of these names of these games. Some of y'all are probably too young for this, but hey, when those games come out, and I look at that, I mean, it brings back a lot of memories. Like this. Like my Super Nintendo right here, right? This brings back great memories, right? Because when I look at this, I look at and I think about Super Mario World. I think about Killer Instinct. I think about Super Tecmo Bowl. Great memories. But when it comes to the New Orleans Saints throwback jerseys, don't bring back positive memories to me. It brings back years of ineptitude. Brings back heartbreaking losses. It brings back 3-13 seasons. It brings back Wade Wilson. Brings back Billy Joe Hobart. It brings back Billy Joe Tolliver. It brings back Danny Warfel. It brings back Heath Schuler. It brings back Ray Zellis. And those are not the type of names and things that I want to think about when it comes to positivity and great nostalgia. Don't. And I understand, man, it's fun to wear those jerseys. I like, color variation, fine. But I'm not ready to embrace that. I'm not looking for a skinny fleur-de-lis on a helmet. It don't bring back those positive memories like some of you. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, in your case, if you want to bring them back, yeah, man. If it make you happy, yeah. But I'm not a real big supporter of that because they sucked during that time. And it was not a good time to be a Saints fan. And those are the times that I don't want to go back to be honest with you. But I still was supporting them. But, man, I don't remember that. Man, I don't want to remember that, I should say. If the Bucs beat the Saints 4 out of 5 times and the only win the Saints got was in the playoff, they would say the Saints got lucky, like Eli. Yeah, pretty much, man. But it validates them because when we have conversations like this, you can have a Tampa fan that comes in and says something like, I don't know, well, we beat y'all when it count. It's true, but I'm still gonna say we better, I say, man, it's like a trick shot, right? We taking trick shots, right? We taking trick shots, we shooting from half court, and let's just say, for example, we shooting this thing, and I make it, shoot it, make it, shoot it, make it, right? All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you going against me, miss, 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 miss. And then all of a sudden, the fifth time comes around, I shoot up, boing, goes off the rim, and you put it up, and it's on the line like it was before, and you make it. I mean, that doesn't make you better than me. It just means that you won this round. Keen Arthur, thank you very much for the $2. Says, TJ, what about a Mardi Gras theme uni? I don't know. I don't like. I think in the NFL, I don't think that they play around like how they do in the NBA, right? That would be cool if they develop those concepts. Like you see, like the Atlanta Hawks, right? They got an MLK jersey, right? Martin Luther King for Martin Luther King Day. For Latin heritage, Spanish heritage month. You know what I'm saying? They have like the Latino style jerseys. They come up with all these different concepts. Even the Pelicans, right? They got their Mardi Gras based uniform, right? So, but in NFL, you don't really see that. You don't see teams like really embracing other cultures or other things within the city. NFL is like so nostalgia based, right? It's so nostalgia based that everything just likes to be simplistic, right? That's why you always get an uproar when a legendary team like the Browns get their uniform changed, or if somebody like the Packers was to get a different uniform, like people would lose their freaking mind. It's the nostalgia thing. I think the NFL has to do those things to try to appeal more so than the NFL because the NFL is one of the most popular sports in America, and they get away with anything. They don't have to go out here with flashy uniforms on. I mean, and these guys can go out here with burlap sacks on, and nobody would care. As long as football on their television, and they playing at a high level. That's the level that the NFL has reached. Jarvis, Jameis' cousin, spoke on it. He's one of the only black pocket passers and probably the most successful in this era. Must be something to do with it. Manning, Favre, see how they treat them. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and this is not a cop-out because a part of what you're saying, Fort, I agree with. There is this level of I don't want to call it it's not racism, it's more of a stereotype that a black quarterback has to have the ability to have speed like Vic, elusiveness like a Lamar Jackson, and an arm like Patrick Mahomes, right? That's the DNA makeup of a stereotypical black quarterback. And Jameis can run, but Jameis isn't looking to run. Jameis is a pocket passer, a guy that tries to throw the ball and read between his progressions like a traditional, what people consider a traditional quarterback. And I say a traditional quarterback, even though the NFL is changing. That's the way they look at it. But when it comes to Favre and Manning, I will say this. Favre got the benefit of the doubt because social media wasn't at its apex. Even Manning, you know what I'm saying? Social media was starting to cook, but it wasn't as influential. And by that time, Peyton Manning has already established himself as a great, right? So anything that you say about him at that particular time would be sacrilegious, right? He came into the league, if I'm not mistaken, in 98, right? Came in 98, first overall pick by the Colts. He led the league in interceptions. But at that time, if you weren't writing for the Indianapolis Inquirer or whatever it's called out there, I apologize to all my people in Indiana. I apologize because I don't know the name of your publication. But unless you was like looking at that, you probably weren't getting all these different stories. And there weren't many talking heads. There weren't these shows like Cold Pizza. You know what I'm saying? That was the only show at the time, right? There was no First Take. There was no Undisputed. There was no Marcellus Wiley and Acho. There was no, Colin Cowherd was out there, but wasn't, like all these different debate shows wasn't top tier. It wasn't like people were just looking at these shows like they do now. And it's like you have to come to this conclusion. And these guys can honestly make or break these guys based on their arguments and based on how compelling their arguments are or how they enunciate, right? So a lot of that has something to do with the fact that these guys didn't play in that era where social media and these debate shows were reigning supreme. Jameis Winston, however, came into the league during a time when social media was at its all-time high and criticism about athletes is the wave, right? No matter how good a guy is, look, Patrick Mahomes is one of the most gifted quarterbacks in the NFL. There's going to be somebody out there right now that's going to hitch their wagon to him and talk about he's not that good or he folds under pressure. There's always going to be a guy like that, right? And that's just the way things are. So I think Jameis Winston is more so a victim of modern day sports rhetoric, right? Because guys can make their name and hitch their wagon and say these controversial takes, and it can really, mess up a guy's credibility because you don't have people out here. Well, you have people out here, but some people are not going to take the time to do their due diligence and find this stuff out. So I think it has something to do with that. And I just think that some of those guys got the benefit of the doubt. I do. I just think that they got the benefit of the doubt. I'm strolling down a little bit. I apologize for anybody that may have left a comment at the top. I'm scrolling down a little bit. It says, if the Saints were in another division or conference back then, they would have went to the Super Bowl. The NFC West back then was a tough division. Well, yeah. NFC West, during the time when the Saints were there, was a tough division. It definitely was. It was a tough division at the time, man. But Saints going up against the 49ers all the time, being like that was tough, man. That was tough. If we talking about the same thing, I don't know if we're talking about back in the day when the Saints were in the NFC West, or we're talking about the Saints just being in the NFC West hypothetically. LOL, a Panthers fan have the nerve to be trolling. Well, look, I appreciate any rival team stopping by the show. I really do. This is an interactive show. Look, as long as you ain't being like mad disrespectful, talking about nobody's family or anything like that, I embrace that. I welcome that. The moderators, they embrace that as long as you're not being mad disrespectful. I would like to see what the Panthers are going to do because, right now, all this talk about possibly showing Payton join the team and Matt Rule have to go up there and answer those questions. It got to be pretty tough, man. Got to be pretty tough. Panther fans have the nerve to troll. Brandon Brown, we got a good defense. You guys think Olave going to Jamar Chase this year? Due to rookie, he's going to be all right, but not what you think. You said, look, Panthers fan, look, I respect this, but hey, I gotta say this, man. This is you kind of contradicted yourself on this comment. You said that we got a good defense. You guys think Olave going to Jamar Chase this year due to rookie? Okay, so Jamar Chase only played in the league 1 year, man. So if he's going to Jamar Chase, you said dude is a rookie, right? So what was Jamar Chase? So why wouldn't he? If he was to be what Jamar Chase is, it would have to happen in his rookie year. So Jamar Chase could be Jamar Chase in the rookie year, but Chris Olave can't be what Jamar Chase was in the rookie year. So guys can't come in. You know what I'm saying? Guys can't come in to the league. We seen Justin Jefferson do it. We seen CeeDee Lamb do it. We seen Jamar Chase do it. Hell, we seen DJ Moore do it when he first got with you all. So those guys have the capability of doing it. but Chris Olave can't. So I did want to say that, man. Look, I respect that. I think y'all defense was good. Y'all started the season off hot. I think Sam Darnold looked in the mirror for some apparent reason, realized he was Sam Darnold, and just went downhill from there. But, and they also lost J.C. Horn, which was a big missing piece. And I'm always going to have respect for J.C. Horn because his dad is a legend among Saints fans. But, I think that the New Orleans Saints have what it takes, man, to beat the Carolina Panthers. But that's just me. And I think Chris Olave is going to be just as good as one of those guys. I think he's going to be, just as good as any one of those guys, though, as long as he stay healthy. Right had to delete the first comment typo. It's hard to believe that a Panther fan is in the chat trying to troll the Saints. Unbelievable. Jameis is overrated. Respectfully, Saints fan for over 20 years, by the way. Look, Ivan, I don't think so. I don't think he's overrated. See, the thing about it is, I'm not gonna comment on this. I'm not, because Ivan, I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. And I gotta ask you this question before I proceed. So if you're still listening, I just ask you to tell me, why do you think he's overrated? Like, what makes you think, what has been said for you to say that he's overrated? And then I'll answer your question, because I feel like I'm not really getting your stance on that. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to disrespect your question. And I don't want to just be talking based on that, because that can be, you can come from any angle with that. You can come from any angle. Scroll down a little bit. Let's go to Young Blood. Now I go to Curtis. Curtis says, I still think we should get another guard. Ruiz is a problem. Look, I think that competition is key. I think the guy, that they got from the Falcons, I think that some guys that they're getting this offseason that they have practicing, having come in for tryouts, I don't think that is a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence, Curtis, because the Saints are about competition, right? This stigma of, we got this guy, we're gonna try to make him work. Oh, I got this guy. I seen this guy at this local garage sale. I'm gonna bring him in and see if he worked. I seen this guy at Toledo, and he was running fast. He had a lot of heart and a lot of spunk. I'm trying to see what he has. All this stuff is out the window. The Saints are about competition, and if you are not trying to go out there and give your all, then it's time for you to move on over, right? So you bring guys in to compete with Caesar. Now, I'm in no way saying that Cesar Ruiz can't improve on the offensive line. I'm just not. I'm not going to say that. I understand the dude has been in the league. This will be his third season, but I am not going to give up on guys that easy. I understand that guys, if they don't come in, especially at his position, being a first-round draft pick, and if he doesn't pan out right away, people kind of just throw him aside and be like, he's not it. I don't think you throw him to the side, but I do think that you bring someone in to compete with him. And if he doesn't have what it takes, guess what? He's a young guy, and there's always going to be a team that feel like they can actually get some value out of him. Because when the Saints were trying to work on some trades with Deshaun Watson, Cesar Ruiz was a guy that the Houston Texans thought very highly of. So, no, this, despite what you may think about a guy, a team may think something differently about him. So you bring somebody in, compete with him. If it doesn't work, then you try to get some trade value off of him. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's young. He has promise. I just don't think that you give up on a guy like that just yet. I understand that, man. He does things to make you scratch your head and you're frustrated because you're like, what the hell is he doing? But I just chunk it up to the fact that, he's young, but he can get better. I'm not ready to just throw the guy away. And I get it, man. It's a win now league. And when your team not making the playoffs and you're losing games and you can't run the football, you find yourself being frustrated as a fan and as a player, especially if that guy is blocking for you. I completely understand. But I do feel like this guy can get better. Let me see. Before I get to Ramsey, let me stroll back up. Let me get the young blood. Says nobody in the chat gives a crap about your Panthers. Go somewhere else if you don't like that. Look, man. I mean, not a show that focuses on the Panthers, but I appreciate them being here. Jarvis says same thing. TJ, underrated, Ivan. Let's see. I didn't say that, but he was honestly no heyday second round. He's going to be good, but not off the rip. Who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Chris Olave? I don't know, man. I think he might be pretty good, bro. You heard about the undrafted free agent D. Anderson. TJ definitely could be a really good diamond in the rough wide receiver, a tight end. Look, man, I've seen D. Anderson play at Alabama A&M. You know, so I've seen him play. The guy's 6'6". To me, probably a better tight end than he is a wide receiver. That's just my personal opinion. You know, I mean, that's me watching him. I haven't really looked at a lot of the clips, but I mean, I watched my fair share of them because, you know, he played Jackson State. But I think he'll be a better tight end than a wide receiver. I think that you can put some muscle on that frame, and I don't think that he would lose like explosiveness. And I think that you could have one of those Jawan Johnson experiments, you know, a guy that has that wide receiver potential, right? You can run these routes and like a wide receiver has had like a wide receiver, just need to work on his blocking. But I mean, dude, one of the tallest wide receivers in college football, 6'6". I mean, can't really teach that, man. So hopefully you can find something for him. By the way, TJ Jones, have you been watching the new league, the USFL? To be honest, no, I have not. I have not been watching the USFL. I've heard some positive things coming from it. Of course, I'm rooting for it. I'm always looking for an alternative, especially for guys who, if you know they can't pan out in the National Football League, they still can live out their dream. You know, so I'm always going to be a supporter of stuff like that. Haven't been watching it the way I want to, but I think that is necessary. And I think it's going to take a while to catch on. You know, I just hope that people, you know, would be patient with it, you know, and I hope the executives be patient with it and keep it going. Because sometimes when numbers start to fall off and, you know, people just stop, you know, seeing like they have interest, they don't try to do the things to try to make it better. And I think that's a huge mistake. If you ain't rolling with Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints, you're nothing. If you're asking me why I can read that comment and look at the camera at the same time, because Jerry says that all the time. Let's see. Players, Panthers fans do not run this out. There was, pardon the interruption. Yeah, there was, pardon the interruption. But once again, I mean, these shows weren't as popular as they are now. I mean, not even in football. I mean, political shows, you know, like, you know, hip hop shows, pop culture shows. All of them have the split screen. The split screen is running the world right now. Hot takes are running the world. I ain't say hot cakes. I say hot takes, right? Let's not forget Winston played pitcher in college. Yeah, I remember that. Remember that, man. 5150 clips. I'm not going to say it, but we all know why Jameis gets picked on in the national media. I guess you're alluding to the fact that he's an African-American. I think it has something to do with that. You know, also, I just feel like, you know, it's just lazy commentary. I mean, it's not hard, right? It's not hard picking on a guy who throws, you know what I'm saying, 30 interceptions. I mean, the commentary speaks for itself. You know, it's not too many people that want to come out here like Jameis one of one and be like, well, Jameis Winston, you know, led the league in red zone efficiency, or, you know, he had these numbers equivalent to Patrick Mahomes, or, you know, not too many people going to come out there and try to justify a guy throwing 30 interceptions. It's low-hanging fruit, if you ask me. You know, it's low-hanging fruit, you know, but I digress, man. You know, I just think that they're always going to be hating on this man, you know, no matter what he does. I've seen it firsthand. I mean, when he threw 5 touchdowns in week 1, people were talking about the yards, the 220 yards, not the 5 touchdowns, but he only threw 220 yards. I don't understand. Yes, well, we got TJ to 100 likes. Thank you, fam. And thank y'all so much. We got 251 people watching this right now. 251. So if we got 100 likes, 251 people, that means that everybody didn't hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoy the show. And if you're watching this, please hit that subscription button if you have not already, man. We're about, last time I checked, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. Last time that I checked, we had about 35, we were about 35 subscribers away from 8,000. All right. So if everybody hit that like button, everybody hit that subscription button, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, we gonna be all right. All right. So we gonna be all right. Please, TJ, comment. I asked him the same question you did, and he didn't answer. I guess we're talking about Ivan, right? I don't think Jameis Winston is overrated, Jamaica. I don't. I don't think that he's overrated because you would have to be rated to be overrated, right? Nobody's rating Jameis Winston, and I think a lot of the confidence, the well wishing, is because of what I said earlier. It's because we're Saints fans. Why is everybody like why? And I'm not being disrespectful, but I just want. I don't even want to call them haters. I just wanted the deflectors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want those, you know what I'm saying, those people that's out here deflecting, detracting, all these, you know what I'm saying, people out here with the negative energy about Jameis Winston. I just got a question for you. Okay. Why don't you want this guy to succeed? Why don't you want this guy to be good? Why are you, you know what I'm saying, putting him in a box? Why are you saying that he's overrated? Why are you saying that he's not good enough? Because if he's not good enough, guess what? That means that the Saints aren't going to be good enough. Guess what? If the Saints aren't good enough, then we're never going to be happy. We're not going to be happy. Look, what I see from James is a guy with a lot of talent. I see a guy that can make a lot of throws. I see a guy that has a good skill set, and there's a reason why he was the first pick overall. There's a reason why he won the Heisman Trophy. And regardless to what people may think of his time in Tampa, you cannot deny that the dude has all the tools to be successful. First off, I believe in organization, and that's another thing. If you don't believe in organization, if you don't believe the Saints are a really good organization, if you don't believe the Saints have what it takes to make players better, why are we cheering for them? I can say that I feel like the Saints can get the best out of a player, because when these players were playing for the Saints, and I'm talking about Pad, Tracy Porter, I'm talking about Jimmy Graham, I'm talking about Robert Meacham, I'm talking about Lance Moore, I'm talking about guys like that who went other places and did not have the same level of success they did with the Saints. And that was because the Saints can develop players better than the other teams out there. I believe that. I believe organization matters. I believe coaching matters. I believe the way that you coach a guy matters. I believe that helping a guy make a transition, helping him by utilizing his strengths, and then start to transition to things maybe a little bit more complicated that he's not comfortable with. You know, you start to slowly put that into his arsenal. That is what great teams do. They develop guys and they play to the guy's strengths in order for their team to be successful. So when you say overrated, I don't think so, because I think the dude has talent. But I think that what people are saying is that they feel like the Saints organization wrapping their arms around Jameis and giving Jameis a chance at a new leaf and a new football life, it will cause him to be a better quarterback. That is what I'm saying. Look, I don't think that this is a lost cause, and we have to be careful with that sometimes. It's like a marriage, right? You know, you might be married, or you probably know somebody that's married, and you probably was married for X amount of years, and it didn't work out, right? It was a couple years. It just didn't work out. You got yourself a divorce. You moved on. Nobody was bad. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't mesh. So you probably like doing certain things the other person didn't want to do, and it just clashed. Don't mean that you were terrible. Just means that it didn't work out. You move on. They get married. You get married. You get married. And that person that you end up being with, y'all might be on the same page. That person might be able to compliment you. You may be able to compliment them. And the marriage might be stronger than the one that you came out of. All marriages don't end because you got two terrible people. You know, not all organizations are going to be a good fit for a quarterback. And I think we have to look at the fact that these guys that get drafted first pick overall, they get drafted first pick overall for a reason. It's because the organization sucks. So if Detroit Lions was to draft a quarterback, right? Let's just say, for example, Young out of Ohio State, he gets drafted in the Detroit Lions, who have a history of ineptitude, a history of being a snake-bitten franchise. If he doesn't come out there and be all he can be right away, why do people just automatically just chunk it up and say the dude sucks? Why don't anybody look at the organization? In 2015, Jameis Winston was drafted first pick overall by the worst organization in football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not right now, but I'm just saying at that particular time. They were going through a transition. They were trying to figure out the coaching situation. They were trying to put players around him, and they were trying to figure out an identity. Now, some people would say, well, look, they replaced him, and look what they've done. They replaced him with arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, a 20-year veteran who had cachet, respect around the league, and guys that were willing to run through a wall for him because of who he was. You have to develop that type of cachet. You have to develop that type of confidence from a player. I mean, you got Leonard Fournette and Ndamukong Suh. You had Richard Sherman out there, Antonio Brown. You had these guys coming out here, Shaq Barrett, guys taking pay cuts, all so they can play with Tom Brady and continue to go on this magical championship run. Jameis did not develop that type of cachet in Tampa. So there's levels to this. There are levels. And I think we need to understand that. And if we look at the game of football, and we look at it from an objective standpoint, a lot of the things that we get mad about and a lot of the things that we ask questions about, they're right in front of our face. I mean, look at Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he just stopped being a good quarterback. Jacksonville firing coaches left and right. Tom Coughlin, with his old school ways, not getting along with people like Jalen Ramsey, he goes to the Rams. Not get along with Leonard Fournette, he goes to the Bucs, right? You know what I mean? You got guys, not, listening to the organizational guys. You got Urban Meyer up in there, won't get lap dances and stay in Ohio. It's a train wreck. How do you expect? How's anybody criticizing this guy? How's anybody criticizing the guy, say this dude isn't good enough after all that? So all I'm saying is, for people that are out here saying, oh man, Jameis Winston, he ain't it, you got to look at the situation. That's all I'm saying. You got to look at the situation. And I don't think a lot of people are looking at the situation. I mean, is that fair? Is that fair? I that's the best way I can put it. That's the best way I can put it. I'm strolling down. Damian says, what's happening, TJ? Real quick question. Your thoughts on the LSU Tigers upcoming season? Interesting to see. Brian Kelly, new head coach. Brian Kelly is a winner. That's one thing I can say about him. I just think that the rules and regulations at Notre Dame kind of prohibit him from really hitting that next level. But Notre Dame was always in the college football playoff. They always were in a big-time bowl game. So imagine what Brian Kelly can do with these NIL deals and money under the table. Which leads me to my next point, folks. And I know this don't have anything to do with football, but what the hell is wrong with Nick Saban? What the hell is wrong with Nick Saban, man, for him to say these things about Texas A&M, taking shots at my alma mater, Jackson State University, saying, that Deion Sanders allegedly gave number one recruit Travis Hunter $1 million. Basically didn't have no evidence, no nothing. And honestly, I'm not saying what's wrong with him for saying it. I'm just saying what's wrong with him because don't you understand the target that you just put on your back when you coming out here sounding like you super self-righteous and all of a sudden like you know beyond reproach and you holier than thou, people are going to start looking into that. People are going to start looking into it. And when you have Jimbo Fisher going on television saying, man, go look into his past, go look into it, it's going to make people go out here and want to take a look. I'm saying this because everybody knows that I graduated from Jackson State University. And of course, Jackson State University right now, you know, is making a lot of waves, you know, because of Deion Sanders being a head coach and the things that he's doing for the university. I find it as a slap in the face that he feels that, you know, in order for a person, you know, an African-American, a young kid, you know, to go to an HBCU to help them make that HBCU better, that HBCU had to give that dude money. And I think that it's also hypocritical of Nick Saban to say this, because here's the thing. Nick Saban had no problem when Deion Sanders first came to Jackson State University and they asked the question, what do you think about Deion Sanders coming to Jackson State? Nick Saban like, well, you know, I think it's a good thing. I think that he'll do great. It was fine until Deion Sanders started banging on the trash cans. When he started making some noise and it started disrupting you and it started disrupting your bottom line and your end result. When you start getting guys like Travis Hunter going to HBCUs, when you start to get the basketball player going to Howard University instead of Duke, you have a lot of these guys out here that are upset because if you can't throw money at them anymore because of these NIL deals, all of a sudden you really got to go out here and really start pitching to the guy. Well, what happens when these guys can actually step foot on HBCU campuses and they got to worry about just eating ramen noodles at night because the NIL deal can actually give them some money? What happens then when you can't go out here and just start preaching about, oh, you know what I'm saying, like Mark Ingram went here, Julio Jones went here? Well, guys are going to start taking it upon themselves to be catalysts for change. And when you start adding other guys in that become catalysts for change, you start to get a powder keg going, and it is going to blow up into something extremely big. Nick Saban is a hater. Plain and simple. Nick Saban is a hater. Nick Saban wants, you know, the things to be the way that they used to be, where he gets $10-12 million a year, and these players shut the hell up and go out here and play, and then go to their room and have to cry at night because they're hearing about all of the things that they're actually achieving on the field, but their mama can't pay the rent. Their daddy can't pay the rent. But that's okay for Nick Saban because he's going to hop in his Phantom and hop in and go to his mansion that's hiding behind somewhere in the woods in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And get on and miss me with that stuff about, you know, they doing things the right way. I've been to Tuscaloosa. Shouts out to my uncle. My uncle lived in Tuscaloosa for like 7 years. I can tell you, ain't nothing out in Tuscaloosa. No disrespect to anybody in Alabama, but you know what it is, man. There's nothing in Tuscaloosa except for what that University Mall. It might be something different. I ain't been there in a minute. And the University of Alabama. They ain't got nothing else out there besides that. And you're telling me that a guy is going to pass up USC, pass up UCLA, pass up Stanford, pass up Texas, pass up Texas A&M, pass up Oklahoma to come to rural country-ass Tuscaloosa, Alabama to play because they just want to play for Alabama? Knock it off. Thank you, Damien. I've been wanting to talk about that. I've been wanting to talk about that, man. I've been wanting to talk about that. But thank you, man. That gave me a reason to talk about it. But yes, Nick Saban is a hater. Nick Saban is a hater. But we can get back to the Saints football. We're going to take a few more questions, then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Strolling down with Daryl. Daryl says, we all know what's up. Alabama pocket, not as deep as Texas or Ohio State. No school in Texas. Not Texas A&M. Not Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like these Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, man, these folk got that Skrilla. They got that Skrilla, folks. They got that Skrilla, man. So he concerned. He concerned, man, because now, you know, you can't go out here and be trying to get guys your money under the table, because if you give guys money on the table, hey, hell, now they can do things legally, right? You ain't got to worry about, you know, if somebody found out I took this money, you know, they're gonna take everything away from me, like they did Reggie Bush, right? Took that man Heisman Trophy. You know, like, come on, man. They ain't got to worry about that no more. Now you can go wherever you want to go and be comfortable because you got an NIL deal to be able to take care of you. Sean Payton, that's what I mean. He's good, great, a legend. Oh, but he still made questionable calls, period. Yeah, man. Sean Payton is a legend, but Sean Payton got in his own way on several occasions. Several occasions. Jamaica says, seems like you're a clown. What's wrong? You hate facts being presented, and I called you out in that whack answer you had. Look, I have belief in Jameis Winston, and I'm not going to keep on continue to go. I'm not going to go back and forth. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, Ivan. But I see you about Sean Payton. I see you talking about Drew Brees, but those days over, dog. Like, for real, it's over. Like, sitting up here talking about what it used to be, Sean Payton ain't coming back. All right. I mean, Ivan, much respect to you, but you sounded like somebody that somebody got left and they can't come to grips that it's over. Look, we appreciate Sean Payton, but Sean Payton can't do nothing for us right now. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, only thing we can do is appreciate what he has done. And he has done an outstanding job. He has built a culture that we all can appreciate him alongside Drew Brees. But it's over. It's over, man. Like, it's over. Like, what can you do, man? You can go outside, stand outside Sean Payton's house with the radio, with the boombox like your boy on that movie, but he ain't coming back. So, talking about Jameis Winston being overrated, talking about people disrespecting Sean Payton, I mean, can't do nothing. And there's no room for name calling. And you know what I'm saying? And there's no room for name calling, man. So moderators, look, we gotta get on our job, man. No name calling in the chat. That's deal breaker for me. Everybody's an intelligent human being in the chat. So we can come up with more ways to talk about, talk and get our point across without having to insult people. Baby, come back. Hey. I was blind and I can't live without you. Baby, come back. ATJ, guess those Affleck commercials with him and Prime won't happen again. Yeah, man, that's gonna be something serious, man. I mean, look, man, I appreciate Sean Payton. I appreciate Drew Brees, man, but these boys ain't coming back, man. All right, ain't no need to go out here and talk about what they did, because I mean, it's over with. We can appreciate it, but it's not going to help this team this year. Okay, none of them ain't coming back. You can't call back Sean Payton. He on Fox. You can't call Breezes on the main line and tell him what you want. I mean, it's over with, right? You can call Breezes on the main line. Breezes is on the main line. Tell him what you want. Tell him, oh, Breezes. You can't call him, man. You know what I'm saying? It's over with, man. He hit a boot. So all you can do is count on Jameis Winston and count on Dennis Allen, try to get these boys over the hump. All right? That's all you can do, man. All right, but let me take one more, man. Yeah, I can't believe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think of that before. Yes, when I was talking about Drew Brees. Brees is on the main line. Tell him what you want. TJ, a player we overlook sometimes is Malcolm Roach from Texas. He has improved his skill, technique, and power. Ready to see him this year. I wish Caesar would do the same damn thing. Yeah, man, Malcolm Roach in his moments, he's played really well. And I'm also interested to see what Carl Granderson can do. I'm interested to see what he can do. Derek, TJ with them vocals. Let's see. Adman said he hit that for a settle on Q. If you we say when you need if you need you need a quarterback. If you need a quarterback, tell him what you want. Lord, the vocals came out and you need a singing deal. Cloud chasing. sing that sweep song, and we sweep around your own. Go your pride to sweep around mine. This man vouching for Caesar, but man, y'all boys, okay, man. Let's leave him alone, man. Hey, let's look, break it up, folks. Nothing to see here. Come on, man. Let me see. Y'all forgot TJ up in the church. Them quiet days paid off. Yeah, man. Sure, I used to sing that choir. Be there at choir rehearsal on Saturday, man. Then have to clean the church up when we're done. Sound like Childish Gambino, Redbone. Daylight. No wanna waste my time. You can want it. You can have it. Stay woke. Let's see. Hey TJ, which undrafted free agent do you want to see make it? Lucas Kroll, man, tight end out of Pittsburgh. Hearing a lot of positive things out of him. Definitely a guy I feel like has that motive. Seems like he has that. It seems like he has that grit, man. And then not to mention he's from Pittsburgh, so I'm biased. Okay, Pittsburgh and tight end just like it's a match made in heaven. I mean, you think about Heat, you know what I'm saying? Like Heat, James Heat all those years, and Jesse James. It just seems right. Okay, even him coming from Pittsburgh, a tight end from Pittsburgh, just seems right. It just sounds gritty, right? Pittsburgh always seemed like they can produce a tough, hard-nosed tight end. Stop it, TJ. Hey, TJ, hit that quiet boy part. I can't hit that now. Our heart is a house of love, and I love. Diffuse attention in the chat with humorous singing. TJ a real pro. Yeah, man. Yeah, we gotta get along, man. Look, we all members of the Who Dat Nation. We all want what's best for this team. Okay, sometimes we disagree, but let's try to disagree in a very fair fashion, you know. But I'm about to go ahead head out of here, folks. Man, Paxton just made it home from daycare. I heard him and my wife walk through the door, man. So got his present, man. I want to see. You know, we got him a little remote control, not a remote control car, but one of those little Power Wheel cars, and I want to check it out, see how he like and take some pictures, man. Spend a little time with my little man. But thank y'all so much, man. Appreciate y'all for being here. Ask that everybody hit that like button if you enjoyed the State of the Saints podcast. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Search the State of the Saints podcast. As a matter of fact, before you get up out of here, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you have not already. I would really appreciate that. And previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, a part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. And also, before I get up out of here, folks, got some exciting news. I am now a new contributor with the Who Dat Dish. That's right, the Who Dat Dish publication. You all will start seeing articles from me, and I'm really going to try to push for them to try to bring back a Who Dat Dish podcast, because I have not seen any. Unless like y'all seen some Who Dat Dish podcasts, I have not seen it. But yes, I will be working with the Who Dat Dish as a contributor with Fansided. So excited about that, man. That's going to start next week. Y'all going to be seeing some articles coming from your boy. And I'm going to embrace that, man. Trying to, dabble into the sports writing realms, and hopefully everything works out. And I hope that I get you all support. All right. Really do appreciate it. Shouts out to everybody in the chat making this show great. Really do appreciate it. Have a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. And like always, all I got to say is